Well, thank you all for being here at the end of a very long day, but a really productive and informative day. I'm really happy to be here and be able to participate, not being from the UC system. So I work with in Fisheries and Wildlife, or the new name Fisheries, Wildlife, and Conservation Sciences at OSU as a facilities and safety operations manager. Just about me, my background, before I started this job 6 years ago, I did bird studies for 25, 30 years. I worked with spotted owls for 15 years, and then I did a master's degree for about 4 years after that. Then I moved into working with seabirds, so Caspian terns, crested cormorants, fish-eating birds. And so I managed a lot of really big field crews and field projects, and I had a lot of oversight and supervision of field workers. So my position is kind of unique in a lot of, people said here, well, we're all here as volunteers, but I'm not. I'm paid to do this job, and half of my time is dedicated to safety. Like I said, the position was created new. There was a facilities manager, but we never had a safety person who was paid to do safety. And the position was developed in order to develop safety processes that were more formalized within our department. And it's unique within our department. We don't have this position in all departments at OSU. I work within the unit committee on safety. I work with the College of Ag department on safety, and I work also at the university level on a recently formed working group around field safety. So it's really helpful for me to be here and learn a lot more from what other people are doing. You can go to the next slide. So one of the main things we did when I started this position working together with our field safety committee was we developed a process. We created a 2-page form and checklist, and it was a process for sort of evaluating program safety and compliance within each lab. So I would meet with the lab managers or the lab owners, if you will, the PIs, or the lead researchers that had a supervisory responsibility over field work, and we would list their projects in the field. We would list the types of employees they had, from undergrads to grads to postdocs and FRAs, faculty research assistants. And I would talk to them about how do we document what they're doing. So we use SciShield at OSU, which is the documentation and training portal, if you will, or software. And then I would work through all the different kinds of required trainings that might apply to them. And we kind of cross-reference those to the different projects they were doing. And a bunch of those are listed on the right side here, but fieldwork safety was a big part of my next task that I worked on within the department. You can move to the next slide. And so we already I had worked previously on a working group within the College of Ag to sort of develop a template for doing field safety planning. And we had worked with EH&S, and they put that template online. Working within our department, we modified the template slightly to sort of address more fisheries and wildlife type tasks and activities. And one key thing about this template, and the URL is up there, is that it says pretty explicitly you shall do a field safety plan for remote field work. And this is something within the working group that I'm in now that I'm really pushing, that I think it's important we have field safety plans for all field work, not just remote field work. And OSU defines remote field work as over 1 hour, essentially, an hour or more from definitive care or professional medical care. So since I started doing this in my position, I counted the other day, about 42 folders with field safety plans, and some of those are renewed year to year. So that's pretty good, considering we have probably just under 40 labs doing research, and some of that is just lab research. But once the plans are completed, the field workers receive a copy of the plan. They're all expected to read it, understand it, and sort of sign it to agree that they understand that they're participants in this plan and they understand it. And so this is just a quick slide to show one project that utilized the plan very effectively. It's a bighorn sheep study in Southern California in the Mojave Desert. They provided really good maps of where they were working and lists. And it's essentially 15 field workers, different from undergrads to grad students to the PIs and state biologists that were collaborators, all listed on the plan. Hiking into the desert daily along defined routes, or using telemetry to follow sheep and collecting fecal pellets to study the demography or the population structure of the bighorn sheep, and then returning to a truck to camp each night. So one of the key things, right, in all these plans is communication. So we utilize the Garmin InReach units to really have a check-in process for this crew. I'm not gonna try to read any of this, I'm just gonna say this is like all the stuff, right? If you look down the left side, you see all the different categories of information, and really importantly at the bottom, check in and check out and emergency response procedures were defined in these plans. And you go to the next slide. And this is just a really nice graphic of the Garmin data portrayed on a map back at the office. And so what you see on the inset are text message locations, where those were sent from daily. And you could display this in different ways, but this is just kind of a representation of how we were able to keep track of who was in the field, where they were, and get messages daily. I'm going into the field, or I'm leaving the truck, I'm going to go do survey work, and then at the end of each day, I'm back to my truck, checking in for the day, all's well. So that was just, and then yeah, that's just the last one. I know we're out of time, and everyone probably wants to go have the social, so no questions, but I'll be happy to talk more about what we're doing at OSU if anyone would like more information.